Hello there, we're live from our studios here on digital address GA0992539 in Kokomlemle. Our top stories this hour. Examine fresh fish carefully before you buy. That's a warning from both government officials and experts in fisheries as investigations commence to ascertain whether or not dead species of fish found on Ghana's shores is as a result of contamination in parts of the country's seas. We hear from the Food and Drugs Authority as they hit the market to investigate fish sales. Your child could be one of 300 school children killed in road accidents yearly, according to the Building and Road Research Institute. We'll tell you more as the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority prepares to provide driving training in local languages as part of efforts to curb carnage on our roads. All these and more revealed in our latest Hotline documentary, Crushed. And a plan to rid the Central Business District of hawkers and filth as new regional minister tours the capital to share his strategy. But to what extent will this last and even deal with the problem? We'll fill you in. The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities, Dignilu, Affordable Safe Sanitation. Join us on DSTV 421, GoTV 144. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube and our other social media handles. I am Gifty Ando Apia. This is The Pulse. Please be my guest. The Food and Drugs Authority says it is yet to find any of the unwholesome fish that were washed ashore on the market. The FDA, which has since been visiting some fishing communities and markets, is cautioning the public, by the way, to be mindful of fish purchased in the market. We'll be getting some update from the FDA, which currently is investigating the matter. But before that, let's bring you a report filed by JoyNews' Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson, who earlier reported that the fishes were washed ashore.
Large volumes of poisoned fish washed ashore right here where I'm standing, and farther off yesterday morning, even till now. We cannot see most of them here right now because the women have cleared it and some have been buried to prevent people from taking them or sending them onto the market.
The fish, seen in various sizes, were scattered along the shore of the Osu Beach. Some residents were seen gathering them, though skeptical about its wholesomeness. A resident who spoke to JoyNews recounted what happened.
I'll say we saw this yesterday around 10 a.m. But normally this used to happen seasonally. So we thought it's normal, as we know. But later we find out that it's not normal because the number of fishes that are coming out and the way they are washing out from the sea is not normal. At that time, people have already collected some to market and other places consume it. We thought it will end, but this morning we realized it still continues. So we have to come and stop everybody from picking it.
Chief fisherman for the area, Ni Tete Apo Jamloja VI, is worried consumers may no longer want to purchase their catch. Given that there was such clamor for this fish at the beach yesterday, it is possible it has already made its way onto the market. The Municipal Health Directorate and the Ghana Standards Authority are said to have taken samples for investigations. The Municipal Chief Executive of Clote Kole, Nia Ajay Teria, says the Assembly has taken some steps to ensure that people don't consume it.
We are stopping people from taking the fish from here. We've gone on air to explain to the public. Also, we have our public address systems, vans going out to announce that if people bring fish into the townships, etc., to sell their cheap or whatever, they shouldn't be patronizing it because of...
Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson filed that report. Meanwhile, a senior lecturer at the Department of Fisheries and Marine Science at the University of Ghana, Professor Francis Nunu, has been offering some explanation as to how this could have happened.
Various reports from various incidents will come out. My department, the Department of Marine and Fisheries Science of the University of Ghana, is collaborating with IESS of the same university. We have taken samples, and as at now, we are almost at the lab analyzing them. The Fisheries Commission has taken samples, the FDA and others, GSA, have all taken samples, and various labs are really on the spot working. So we are hoping that latest by tomorrow or even by close of day, we can pinpoint something. But for now, to avoid panic, people can go about their normal business. And the situation is not as you know, because the outpour of the fish have ceased for now. It's not continuously. It's that one day that it came in. So it has ceased. So for now, we will say that the sea is okay. People can go fishing.
Well, in the western region, what looked like whales were found on the shores. Let's get to our correspondent in Natalia Kwanza. Dolphins, I must say, some 60 of them were sighted at the Axim Beware in the Inzima East municipality of the western region. It was a bit chaotic there yesterday, but let's find out from Ina whether the situation has changed now. Hello, Ina.
Hello, Gifty.
Ina, bring us up to speed.
Yes, Gifty. So this morning, a team from the Western Region Fisheries Commission, together with the Food and Drugs Authority, with allying agencies, went to Bonre in the Nzima East municipality, where these supposed dolphins appeared yesterday. Apparently, when they got there, they said about 300 of them were found at shore, and some residents had already sold some out to some unknown people. So these agencies, which was led by the Fisheries Commission, went there so that they could ascertain what had really caused this. They have gotten a few of them to bury. And then yesterday also, there was the chairperson for the CPP who was on a working visit in the community, who saw this and bought a few of them with a panic that if this should land to the community and they should sell it out, the disease that could, spread around. So she bought a few of them, thinking she would get a boat so that they would be taken deep sea. But unfortunately, there was no boat yesterday. Today, when she got there, about 5 of them were only alive, and then the rest were found dead. So, Gifty, that's the situation now. It is calm, and then according to residents in the community, this is the first time they have seen something like this, or they've seen this kind of fishes coming. According to the chairperson of the CPP, she told us that she bought a piece of it for 400 cedis.
400 cities. Ina, who is selling? Is it those who live on the shores who are selling these dead dolphins?
Yes, Gifty, those residents who live around, according to opinion leaders too, when these dolphins came to shore, they had warned residents not to take them, but they went ahead, took a few of them, sold it out, and then now the Fisheries Commission with their agencies are searching for making inquiries to get these dolphins that have already been sold, so that they can bury them as well with.
Ina, I lost you briefly, but you said the Fisheries Commission is looking to find these dolphins that have been sold so that they can bury them, and then what? Ina, can you hear me?
Gifty, I didn't hear you earlier.
Right, yeah, I lost you at the end of what you said. You said that the Fisheries Commission wants to get hold of the rest of the dolphins so that they can sell them and they can bury them, and then what?
Yeah, so they want to get hold of
in Natalia there, but good thing is we got some updates before we lost her that way. What she's saying is that the Fisheries Commission has gone through the place, and they found out that about 300 of these dolphins were available. Some they have found, others have been sold already, and they're working to get those that have been sold, the dead ones that have been sold. They're working to see if they can get them and bury them to avoid the spread of disease, if it was a disease that killed these ones. Well, let's get on Zoom again. I have Redrick Dade-Ejay, who is a Deputy Chief Executive Officer for the Food and Drugs Authority's Division of Food. The Food Division of the FDA, Deputy Chief Executive Dade-Ejay. Mr. Dade-Ejay, good afternoon. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon.
So tell us about what the FDA has been doing today. We understand you hit the markets trying to investigate fish sales.
Yes, not only today. We started a while back. And we have gone to town. We have verified the reportage, as you have said. We have seen to the burial of the fish on the shore. We have gone to the market, and we are still there following up on leads. Because at the beginning, a lot of fish that came in, people, the understanding that we have is that they rushed for it. So we do know that there's been some kind of leakage into the system, and we are following up on it. So we are at the market level. We have gone to the fishmongers. There has been communication with the chief fisherman, through the MCEs, the education that has been done, and it's gone down well. So at least in terms of publicity, people do know what is up and then what we are expected to do. That when people come across this product, that they are not supposed to patronize it, and then they are also supposed to inform us. And so this is the action that is ongoing right now.
Can you give us an idea what you've gathered with all these interactions that you've had, which you have just described to us? What information are you picking up regarding the possible infiltration of this fish, or what we're seeing on our shores in the market?
Right, thank you. There has been infiltration that we are certain, because we have come across some of the fish in the township. We actually went even into the neighborhood. For example, in the Mandela area, in the Osu Clote, the Osu Kole Clote area, we have visited some residents and have had discussions. At least from the way we have had interactions, some of them have attested to it, that they did pick. When the products, they saw the fish on the shore, they picked some of them, and some have actually admitted that they have eaten. It's quite interesting. Some of them even said, well, they had picked some, but when they heard the information that the FDA has put out there, they are hoping to hear later about the lab analysis that we are going to come up with, so that they will know what to do with the fish. So we said, no, they should hand it over, because as it is, the directive is that everybody should bring it in. We have actually come across some where, the traditional momoni, some had prepared, but when they saw the team come, they absconded in terms of like who to own up that they had been preparing this. So the whole thing was confiscated, and now it has been buried. So the education is still going on. The markets are well aware, and the FDA is doing the education. We have communicated with our regional offices, and I think in your reportage, as you just talked about, the various FDA offices that are along the beach, that is the stretch of the coast, have also put in their effort. In some places, we have cited these products. So we have also, we are part of, we are educating. We are on radio, educating the populace. When you go out, things that you need to look out for, we have been very clear about it. I mean, when you're going to buy, you are supposed to watch out for the gills, fresh, fish as is expected. The gills are red, the eyes are bright. For some of these fish that has come on shore, you've seen that some of them is like the eyes are gouging out, they are protruding. There's this off scent, and then also you see it more or less with a distended abdomen, and also oozing some kind of fluid. The skin integrity is compromised. It is not the nice thing that you would expect to see of good fish. And yet I've talked about also the poor scent. So this education we are giving, and we've received a lot of cooperation from Ghanaians, and we are happy about it. So let's keep it up. Our officers are in town right now, even as I'm talking to you.
So what's the plan? Are we trying to retrieve these, pieces of fish that I'm seeing in one of those pictures that the fish, the dolphin has actually been chopped up. It looks like it's been chopped up in little or tiny pieces, and I believe that's how it was sold. Is our plan to retrieve these fishes? I mean, is that a plan?
Yeah, our plan is varied. It's to retrieve for those who, bring it out. We would we would see to it, because it's our responsibility to see to the safe disposal of such products out of the system. The plan is also to educate people, because somebody may be unsuspecting, go to the market, may want to buy. It's a cheap product that you see there, and you think that, you are buying good stuff, but it might be some of this product, and we don't know why the fish has died in this mass as we are seeing. So it's supposed to be preventive. So the plan is varied. It's supposed to cut across. It's supposed to educate. It's supposed to be preventive. And also for those who are engaged in the business of trying to process this kind of fish to sell to those who may want to buy, it's also to serve as a warning to them.
Those who are selling this fish, it's obviously unwholesome at this point. Will that constitute an offense under the regulation of the FDA?
Exactly. That's very clear. And that we have also put out there, that if you are intentionally doing this thing, knowing or unknowingly, and the law grabs you, you stand the possibility on conviction to a term of 4 years imprisonment, or it's a fine, or you get both of it as the judge sees fit. So, our options are very clear, and we are not leaving any stone unturned. For us, this is very serious business, and we are relying on the public. That's why we are active in this area.
It's part of the FDA's work, the ability to ascertain what actually happened. Are you conducting any such research or any such test to find out what is actually in the system of these fishes that killed them, or actually what's in the water? I know the Fisheries Commission is doing something like that, but is this something that the FDA is also considering?
No, we have our mandate that is on food safety. The issue as to what has killed them or why we are experiencing what we are seeing, that is the fisheries, the fisheries division's responsibility. And we met at on the shores. We did all these discussions. They have taken samples to do that. Ours also is to look at the issue of if you have what we call a food hazard. Food hazards can exist in 3 forms. It's either a biological hazard, a physical hazard, or a chemical hazard. So if it is some kind of poisoning, but you can imagine what kind of poisoning can cause something so massive. In terms of, if you look at the coastline, to have all this amount of fish that, let's say, have died and been washed ashore. So it's an investigative process, and we are going on. So ours is to look out for the food safety aspect. And that is why we are out with our surveillance and educating the public not to patronize this product, because you don't know everything about it. Safety, we cannot guarantee people, and we want it out of our system. The issue of they dying, what we are experiencing, the Fisheries Commission, are better placed to explain such.
Very well. We've heard from them earlier. We'll bring that back. But just to find out, what are the risks? I know that you're advising the public to look out for the freshness of fish before they buy it, but help us understand, if you have that information, the risks that we open ourselves to if we go ahead and eat fish like this.
Well, it depends on what has killed these fish.
Okay.
And you never know if it's what we call a zoonotic disease, a disease that can transfer from an animal to a man. I mean, you could catch it if that disease agent is within. If it's a chemical that is still active, you could be affected by it. It's just that at the moment, we are not sure what is happening, and that is why the investigation is going on. And we would want to err on the side of caution. That's why we are asking that people should keep away from this. What we are seeing is not normal, and therefore it beats one's mind that you would see fish dead like this, and somebody would actually want to pick and go and take this. I think one should be frightened. You shouldn't want to go near such a product. So there are a lot of unanswered questions, and when things are like that, we'll prefer that we classify it as a food safety hazard until we are very clear in what is happening. So the Food and Drug Authority is advising the general public to keep away from such. Anybody who may have this product and may want to pass it on to somebody, please desist from it. You are not doing the person a favor. It is a criminal activity.
And is it the FDA's advice that people should stay away from fish within this period while we wait for the result of these lab tests?
Well, it's a big community. We can't say that every fish that is out there is bad. Right. Definitely, people had stocks of fish before this happened, and I think you should feel free to be able to consume such fish if you do have. There are companies that are doing good business, and that is why they should also go ahead to do their business, provided they know that what they are selling out to the public is what FDA has allowed them to do. We are letting people know the signs of spoilage and certain signs they should look out for. That's why we are doing the education, so that people will be able to make an informed choice when they go out there. So right. We will not say that, the business should stop. We don't see that at the moment. We think that rather people should be equipped to be able to make an informed choice.
Right. Mr. Dade, thank you very much. If you don't have anything else to add, which I have not asked, we can wrap it up here.
Yes, I want to take the opportunity once again that the Food and Drugs Authority is concerned about food safety, and that food safety is everybody's business. It is not. We are not the only institution per se or persons who can talk about it. We think it should be a subject for all families now. They should consider what is happening. The whole populace, if you do see something, please do let us know, and it will help us. Together as a team, we are able to get better results concerning this. And we believe that soon this will pass, and we would have, let's say, a sanitized food industry.
But how do people reach you if they have such information as you're asking?
Oh, yeah, okay. So we have our hotlines that
we can go through them if you have it off head.
Well, off head, I do have,
you can hang on for me.
You can call 0244
okay
33 96 30. Okay,
that's the number to call the FDA on if you have any information on the whereabouts of the fish.
Yes.
Okay. Well, so that's 0244 33 9630. 0244 33 9630. What the FDA is doing is to ask you to give them information on the whereabouts about this fish we understand, or these species of fish we understand has already been on the markets according to the FDA's investigation. So what they're saying is that they're trying to track down these fishes and get them out of the system, because eating it without knowing what killed these could be dangerous to your health. So if you have any information, you've seen somebody who picked up any of those dolphins and chopped them up and sold them out, you want to reach the FDA on 0244 33 9630. Mr. Dade, thank you so much for your time. I've been talking to Dade Ejay, who is the Deputy CEO for the Food Division of the FDA, Roderick Dade Ejay, who is the Deputy CEO of the Food and Drugs Authority's Food Division. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. I want to take you back to the Western region, Natalia Kwanzaa. Let's get some more update on what she said. She's been speaking with the national chairperson of the Convention People's Party, Nana Akosua-Frimpomaa Sarpong Kumakuma, who was in the area for a working visit and chanced on the incident. Panicked by the possible outbreak of the disease of a disease in the community rising from consumption, she decided to buy close to about 50 of those dolphins at a cost of 400 cedis. Listen to her after when Ina spoke to her.
Yesterday we were on our way to see the ships here, and we saw a lot of we didn't know they were dolphins at that time. We saw some big fishes coming out, so we stopped, and then we tried. They actually were coming shore to the shore. They themselves were like rushing to the shore. So we tried, and then we saw some of the people coming to catch them. And then that's when we thought like it's dolphins. And we know that the dolphins, they are not fish that we eat, but they are more like, they are closer to us. And the story that they can even save human beings and bring them to shore when it's a problem. We decided to negotiate with the town people to leave them. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. They found ways of dragging them on the stones, in the sand. It was a sight for no one to behold, you understand? So we finally got a few that were in the track in, and we negotiated it. And so we want to stay here and wait till a boat can take them to the deep blue sea there, where they might be able to be in their own environment. And for that reason, might have a better chance of surviving. What we need to find out though, as a nation, as a people, is why were they coming out of the place? There has to be a reason. They were coming. It's not like someone even lured them. They were rushing to the shore. There must be a reason. I don't want us to think that this is any spiritual or something. There is a reason why the fish came. And I'm asking and all the authorities of this country who have the resources and to do this, please find out what happened. Otherwise, what are we supposed to do? Indeed, the ones that died, if it's indeed the chemical spill that we are hearing, then what would have happened to the citizens here and the people of this place if they are eating and consuming some of them? And some of them were sold. We're talking about over 300 pieces. Over 300 pieces. This is not anything. If it has to do with, and I'm sure if we want to find out what it is, we'll find out. So that's the appeal we are making to the president of the country. If he intervenes, it's done. Because the authorities might not themselves get up to do it. Somebody must make it happen. We've done our best. We pay so much money. We feel like we've done our best, and for me that's it. I'm sad, but hey, what can we do?
How many did you negotiate?
About 40 pieces. 27 here, 10 here, and 3 there.
More than that, 31.
Yeah, your own is 31, theirs was 31, then 10 and 3.
Almost 50.
Oh, that money I wouldn't mention it because you know Ghanaians, the moment they hear the money, they think we're crazy. But then it's not about being crazy. For me, it's about the rescue mission. There's a certain human empathy and passion to make sure that things are done. And we are the CBP people. Here is our father's town. This is Sinsima. So if we get here, we see something like this. For me, I thought we could use it, have it, maybe even get a place for them to see. That place, this place to become a tourist center from the whole world to come here. You understand?
How many are dead and how many are alive now?
Currently, the 2 that we have seen here, see those ones that have been left, they are alive. So we want to take them. If we find one, I think there's another one there too. So we'll try and save them, take them to the deep sea, and we pray that they survive. If they don't, we've done our best.
So those that are dead, are you going to ensure that they are buried?
I've seen the Navy. The Navy, what is it, the Navy or
the Navy? From the Marine Police Unit.
Oh, the Marine, so we hope, yes, I'm not going to stand there and watch it. Before we came in yesterday, some had already been slaughtered. They were being sold. The police intervened. We just pray that the citizens here with themselves will realize that this is not a fish to consume. because something was the matter. That there's no doubt in my mind. That something was the matter. And as a nation, for goodness sake, we must find what it is. We shouldn't just let it happen.
CPP's chairperson there who chanced upon these fish, the dolphins in her case particularly, and bought some thinking that will stop the spread. Well, now we know that parts of the chopped up dolphins that you saw are already on the market and are being sold. And you want to be careful, as the FDA says. The number to reach the FDA on is 0244-339630. This is The Pulse with me, Gifty and Dompia. I'll take a very quick break. When I return, we'll tell you more also about keeping hawkers and filth away from Accra. Will it work? What's the plan?
On the streets.
Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, if you are a parent or a guardian, you must be concerned about this. Over 300 children are getting killed in Ghana through road crashes. That's according to the Building and Road Research Institute. Sadly, most of them are school children who are either going to school or returning. They are hit and killed as they attempt to cross the road or walk on the fringes of the roads. Senior Research Scientific Officer at the Building and Road Research Institute, Isaac Kofi Youngson, says it is time the entire country showed some more commitment to fighting this menace.
Interestingly, we had an average of 310 children dying every year. Death, 310. What that translates into is that if you have a class of 50 in let's say school B, class 150 up to class 6, every year you have class 1 to 6 pupils dying. So a whole school stream is wiped off every year. That is how serious the situation looks. Now, when it comes to policy making, I'm aware that before the recent educational reforms, the Ghana Education Service had in the syllabus of primary schools some form of road safety education. But was it done? Was it done? That is the big question. I have not apprised myself much about the current syllabi in the system as to whether road safety education is there or not. But I must say that all of us would have to set up. Policymakers would have to set up. Teachers need training. If the teacher has not been trained in road safety education, how does the teacher impart that knowledge to the child?
Now, this is one of the many shocking revelations in our latest Hotline documentary, Crushed, which is a week today on the 12th of April. But still on road safety, the Driver Vehicle and Licensing Authority has over the years expressed worry about the number of unqualified drivers on our roads. Such people usually use the back door to acquire genuine licenses without sitting and passing any DVLA exams. This has been identified as one of the main reasons that road traffic accidents is high in Ghana. Close to about 600 people have died so far this year alone. As part of measures to curb this, the DVLA says it is now making it possible for people who cannot read or write in English to still go through driving school, sit the exam, and get issued a license. Let's hear from the DVLA's Director for Driver Training, Testing and Licensing, Kafui Semevo.
We, as a state institution or as playing the role of the state, keep on improving or reforming our policies depending on the situation so that we address the issues we see. So what we've done also is that after reforming the testing, we introduced the theory testing to assess the theoretical knowledge of drivers. Now, we looked at the test and we have said that after some time, there are people still out there who, it's not that they don't want to take the test, but because the test is administered in English, that is a barrier to them. what do? You now have to encourage compliance rather than sit down for them to offend the law and then you go after them. So what we have done is to say, okay, let's go back and see how we can also incorporate these people into our testing regime. So currently we are reforming the theory test to introduce six local languages, which are Ga, Ewe, Dagbani, Hausa, Inzima, will be introduced. When this is done, we are confident, and Chi, because that is it's a very common language spoken, and we are very confident that when we do this, those drivers who are driving with that driver's license, who trained from other sources that we are not aware of and cannot access the services of the authority to obtain genuine licenses, will now have the confidence to approach us. We test their skills, and then we can properly register these or license these drivers to be on our road. It is very important because if we do not do that, these drivers will continue to drive anyway until they are caught, they are out there, and they will be creating the problems they create.
Well, that documentary is, like I said, a week from today. Now, the Minister for Transport, Kweku Ofori-Asiamah, who expressed worry about the number of deaths recorded from road accident that happened in the month of January to end of February 2020 alone, has also been addressing motorists and pedestrians at this year's launch of the Easter Road Safety Campaign held at Linda Door Rest Stop at Bonso Junction in the Eastern Region. Mr. Asiamah said a total of 517 deaths were recorded during the said period, noting that the situation demands immediate attention to address. This afternoon, there's been relative quiet at Ghana's beaches in compliance with the President's directive for the closure of those beaches. Unlike scenes from other years when the beaches were inundated with revelers for Easter festivities, the raging COVID-19 pandemic necessitated the suspension of large gatherings. JoyNews' Judith Awachitando has been out checking the level of compliance. She spoke with the district commander of Pachona, DSP James Asiedu, who together with his men are monitoring that many are complying with the directives. He's also positive that the situation may remain.
Behind me is the Sakumana Beach, where there has been heavy police presence for the past 4 days due to the Easter festivities. Although many had plans to have some bits of fun during this Easter, their plans have been cut short due to the President's directive. So looking to my right, some police are ready to go on a trip to inspect the beaches.
Yeah, it's like there have been enough publicity, and so the public is aware that we are going to police the beaches and ensure that nobody comes around. So actually it has made the work a bit easier for us. We encounter just few problems. In the morning we come to see them jogging around and we advise them to leave. Because once we allow them to do so, people who want to come here will be attracted. They may think all is well and they will also come. So once we come in the morning and we see you jogging around, we advise you to leave. So far, so good. Yes, they comply. They've been very obedient, except that few guys want to test the environment and see whether actually what we are doing, we are persisting doing it, or we are just going to relax. But they've realized that we are not going to leave any stone unturned. Yes, somebody asked me, why am I holding the cane today? Because all other days he saw me not with the cane. The fact is that we had information that guys from Ashaman, they are very stubborn and they will be coming today. So we decided to arm ourselves a little bit.
Well, the Nungwa Shani Beach tells the same story. The LA Haven, which is one of the biggest bars there, has been non-functional for a while due to the restrictions, leaving the owners of the bar frustrated. Isaac Mensa is manager of the bar. He's been sharing his experience.
It's affecting us a lot because since last year that the COVID came and the beach gets closed, we close everything and we don't work, we don't do anything because this what we used to survive. So since it's closed, we close it down and then nothing is going on. We pay rent to this is not my place. It's a place that I rented that I used to operate my business, and nothing is going on right now, so we close it.
Okay, how much were you paying as rent?
Yeah, I pay 300 cedis for a month, and now it's closed. Nothing for a year now, and still we are into the COVID pandemic, so nothing is going on. We are continuing to losing whatever we have to lose. Yeah, it's really stressed because nothing, and from here to the house, it's even difficult for me to go there. So now I don't go anywhere. I sleep here because even the transport to go home, I don't have it because I'll be here. I don't sell anything. I don't get anything. So for me to go to the house, so as you see me at the beach, I actually have to be here this morning. I have to go somewhere else, but because of what is going on, I have to be here and just look at the sea because that's what they told us we should look at the sea when we wake up in the morning.
Ajay Mensah is manager of the bar who's been sharing his experience. Let's listen to ASP Kwesifori, who is also cautioning the public.
In Accra, one area that is of concern to the Accra Regional Command are the beaches. You know, we have a large and long track of beaches across the country in the southern end. And in Accra, we've identified beaches like Okurobite Beach, Bojo, Dansoman, Glefe, Mensagini, Independence Square, the Rivera beaches, Nungwa, Teshi, and Sakumono beaches, stretching to our nearest region, Tama, up to Adan. And we vow to make sure that we saturate the beaches with our personnel and forces to ward off any kind of gathering along the beaches. Our primary objective is for us to be safe, in good health as a people, and also to overcome the danger of being embroiled in this disease. Therefore, we'll be there, and we want the media to give us support. And those who do not respect the protocol terms relating to COVID will be dealt with according to law. And as even we deploy, we will have buses and trucks to pick arrested persons. And as indicated by Director Ops, we're going to prosecute them, investigate and prosecute. Therefore, we've involved all the 14 divisions in Accra and 42 districts in Accra and 96 stations to be part of these grand security operations. And we'll be out there as early as 5 a.m. It takes that. And my appeal to the youth in particular is that they should stay home, avoid the beaches, and let them be safe in whatever they do. Some people are talking about on this particular season, we are not going to entertain that open air attitude along the beaches. It's a no-go area, and we'll make sure that we enforce the law to the fullest. Media, this is not time for criticism.
Well, today, a tour by the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, led by the Regional Minister Henry Quartey, revealed a high level of compliance along the beaches. There was close to no one at the beach. Manuel Kranting was embedded with the team. He's joining us live with more. Hello, Manuel.
Hey.
Manuel, tell us where you have visited so far.
Good. So, Gifty, the tour started from the Air Force base of here in Accra, and then took us straight to Adan until the beaches along the coastline in Accra, all the way through Adan, where some of the places that we visited. So we took a return trip from Adan all the way to Okurobite. And so it's been an extensive tour of the entire coastline within the Greater Accra region, from where it starts to where it ends. 15.
Share with us your observations, Manuel.
Well, indeed, just like you said, there was a high level of compliance to the directives that were issued by the government. Indeed, we had the President, His Excellency Rodan Kwekufado, caution and indeed encourage people to stay off the beaches during the Easter festivities. That essentially was what we saw today. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, the Honorable Henry Korti, has been telling us that, well, it's been 3 days of monitoring by the Regional Coordinating Council. Indeed, on Saturday, the compliance was okay, but not as it was today. And so it's been sort of a progressive adherence to the protocols that were outlined by government and the health authorities. So yes, not so many people were on the beaches. The only areas that we saw people on the beaches were coastal communities, which were predominantly fishing communities. So for instance, at Teshi, at Nungwa, and then some parts of the Ada area. These were indigents who were going about their fishing duties and not, vacationing as you would on regular Easter Mondays in previous times. And so that's essentially the observation that we made today in the tour, even as we flew, over the region.
What it means is that for those who are fishing, it's all right to do so.
Indeed, that's what we got from them. You know that there's a chain, a value chain within the fishing industry. So the fishers have to go up the sea and do what they have to do, get the catch, and then bring them ashore, give to the people. Yes, Gifty, just like you explained, these are the visuals that we got from up the MI-17 chopper that we flew in this afternoon. And so not so many people at the beaches, and all the things that you see, the canoes and all of those ones are being used by fisher folks who are going up the seas to fish or are returning with their catches. And so that's being the picture. Away from the regular, expectation of people staying away from the beaches in adherence to the protocol. That's what was outlined by the Regional Coordinating Council, the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Health Service, and indeed by the President himself. We also observed something else, which, was sort of dirt and filth along the beaches. And this has been an agenda which has been high on the plate of the mayor and then also the Regional Coordinating Council. Indeed, the Coastal Development Authority in 2020 launched what they called the Clean Beach Campaign. And that campaign has been in force since 2020, even up until now. I put a direct question to the minister on what had become of that project, and his response was that he was yet to get briefing on that. However, closely linked with his Make Accra Work Again project, is going to put emphasis on sanitation along the coastline. And that's something that we're looking forward to seeing. In the past week, we've seen some sort of enforcement of sanitation regulation and bylaws within the Medina Lanquantanine Municipal Assembly area. And this is what he says will be replicated along the beaches, Gifty.
Well, give us some more information, but talking about what went on at the Medina Lanquantanine was that police officers were asking people who were flouting rules or people who were disobeying rules to clean up, to do some cleanup. And people were reporting over the weekend that there has been some, cleanliness in the area, given that those people did that work. But this is part of, as you heard Manuel say, the regional ministers. The regional ministers Make Accra Great agenda. And what I need to clarify is whether or not it's the Make Accra Great or Make Accra Work agenda. Well, he's indicated that he doesn't add an again. Manuel.
Yes, that's what he says.
Exactly. So he says it's what? Is it Making Accra Great or Making Accra Work?
Make Accra Work. Yes.
Making Accra Work and not Making Accra Work again.
Definitely.
Meaning that the past 4 years, Accra hasn't really worked.
Well, and that's a question that we've put to him countless times. And he always sort of bounces the question back to say that, well, you have been in Accra and you have stayed here. I should be soliciting information on whether or not the city has worked. But beyond that,
it hasn't created any problem for the people who live around here.
Exactly. Yesterday, the CEO of the Environmental Protection Agency, Honorable Henry Kokofu, together with the Municipal Chief Executive, Mr. Tete, were here. Yeah. So they brought the cleaners from the assembly. Okay. So far, they've cleaned the environment and buried the dead fishes. Okay. So the dead fishes have been buried. So the situation.
So the beaches are all clean.
It's clean now currently. But then what we see is that protection. Yes. What you see now is that the seawater, which is bringing the dead, as you can see. But the dead fishes are all been buried.
You have a lot of men here today.
Yes, sir.
Good. Yes, sir. But how about the Independence Square?
Yeah.
Yesterday,
we have cleared all the place, so the place is empty now.
So good.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Mother Ghana and on behalf of Mr. President, I want to thank all of you for a good job done. We started on Friday. It was a good day. I came around. Saturday was good. Sunday was good. And today is excellent. And we can only thank you for the sacrifice that you have put into this exercise, because over here, as you can see, there is nothing here. But you have so far been here in the sun, ensuring that people will comply with the directives. So we thank you very much. And as the saying goes, after this exercise, there will be more exercises for us to do. And I pray that I can enjoy the support that I've received from you so far.
So that's the regional minister there responding to the incident of dead fishes being washed ashore. Manuel, I'm back to you. We've heard from the minister himself. What else is there to share from this trip as we wrap up, Manuel?
So, and Gifty, you would reckon that at the beginning of most administrations, we have authorities go hard on the sort of ills in society. What we don't get is a sustenance of these efforts. And to put a question of whether or not this was just one of those, efforts which will end in 9 days, for want of better expressions. And he says that, well, this is going to be sustained. They're expanding it to make it multi-sectoral, so that the energy minister, the fisheries and aquaculture minister, gender minister, and so on and so forth. So it's going to be a sort of an interconnected web of collaboration between various sectors in making Accra work. And he's been giving details on how exactly they're going to be doing that, Gifty.
That Mr. President, in his address to the nation on Sundays, on numerous occasions, has admonished Ghanaians not, or people in this country, not to visit the beaches. As a matter of fact, as part of the restrictions on COVID-19, some ban was placed on pubs, restaurants, beaches, etc., etc. We are aware that there is a third wave of COVID-19 hovering around somewhere. And as part of the measures to ensure that there is strict compliance to the COVID safety protocols, we, on behalf of the RCC, REDSEC in Greater Accra, myself as the servant of the people in the region, embarked on an exercise that I called Operation Stay Off the Beaches, just to walk Mr. President's talk and ensure that indeed people comply with the directives. As a result of that, there was a joint, or a collaboration rather, between the security and intelligence agencies and the Regional Coordinating Council, of which the IGP, his men, the Comptroller General of Police, Immigration, the Ghana Armed Forces, all of them. They commenced operations on Friday. First day was good, second day very good, third day perfect, and today I say super excellent. You have been with me at your question. I've toured myself with my team. I toured on Friday, some parts, Saturday same, Sunday same, but today, including your good selves, we have toured from Adan all the way to Kokrobite. And if you agree with me, I can say on authority, of which I call you a witness, the media, I call you a principal witness, in saying on authority that the security and intelligence agencies have done a very, very, very good job in ensuring that there is strict compliance to Mr. President's directive. This goes without recognizing the effort and the partnership that the media has also played in this. Indeed, we called upon you to partner us in this exercise. And let me also use the opportunity to thank all the media houses, those that are doing Facebook, electronic, print, and all, for this wonderful collaboration and partnership to ensure that Accra, as I say, will work. And indeed, it has begun to work.
Well, Manuel, thank you very much. Accra is working, as you say. You saw, is it? Is it working already?
Well, I
you don't need to answer that question. You don't need to answer that question, Manuel. But you've had a good holiday, traveling with the minister, checking out all those beautiful views of our coastline, haven't you?
Was interesting doing that, and I wished for a minute to have just forgotten about the work to enjoy the tour.
Thank you very much, Manuel Kwante. Happy Easter. Manuel Kwante there, who has been touring with the minister, the Greater Accra Regional Minister there. He says Accra is working. Accra, he wants to make Accra work. If you agree with that, or you have any ideas of how it can work better, or whether or not it's working for you already, you can jump on our social media handle, our Facebook, our Twitter handles, share your thoughts with us. Away from Accra, the people of Golu in the Sisala West District are demanding answers from the road and health ministers on the state of their health facilities and road networks. There is outrage among the residents that not a single road network in the home of the former president's hometown has been tarred. The Member of Parliament for the area, Mohammed Adam Supura, has filed an urgent question in Parliament demanding what he terms unjust treatment meted out to residents there. More in this report.
This sums up the frustration of the representative of the Sisala West people in Parliament, who is enraged about the neglect of former President Hilary Liman's hometown in the Upper West region. Roads are not motorable and often flooded when there's a downpour. The health sector is in a deplorable state. The Member of Parliament for Sisala West constituency, who has filed a question on the deplorable nature of the road networks and the health facility in his area, said no health personnel is accepting posting to the constituency.
Sisala West, like I said, is between several constituencies or several districts. And if for nothing at all, at least those roads leading to other districts should be tarred. Most especially Golu-Wa Road. This is a road that almost everybody in the constituency, because Wa is our capital town for Upper West, almost everybody in Golu, either you are, if you are traveling to down south, you definitely have to use that road, and it is a challenge for us. So we think that not just that, Sisala West, if it comes to agric, and in terms of maize farming and all of that, they do a lot of farming in that area, and sometimes to even transport the farm produce to, the market center to be able to, sell the farm produce, it's a problem. And sometimes to even transport the farm produce from their farms to their various community, it's a problem, because the roads, you cannot just, it's a serious challenge. I wish if you had got the opportunity to visit the constituency, you would have attested to the fact that, in fact, we really need help when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to, professional accepting posting, talked about nurses, talked about teachers. Even when they accept initially, when they get to know that this is how the place is, you see them running, looking for, transfer out of the district and all of that. And this has been a challenge. And so I think that in order to address all these challenges, it is for us to get good infrastructure. If our roads are fixed, if we have good facilities, people will be willing to come there willingly. That is why I think as a member of parliament, I am going to tackle it. I'm going to take it upon myself and make it a personal program, and make it a personal project, so that I'll pursue it and ensure that at least something must be done.
And founder of the Saint Immaculate Widows Association, Reverend Sister Gabriela Nona, has appealed to major stakeholders in the land sector, especially traditional rulers in the Upper West region, to make available to them not only farmlands, but lands that are fertile. According to her, widows often face difficulties in having access to farmland, and when they do, they're only given lands that are infertile, which usually end up with low yields. Reverend Sister Gabriela made the plea at a ceremony where some food items, used clothing and mattresses valued at over thousands of Ghana cedis were donated to the association at the Fiama in the Upper West region. Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
Founder of the St. Immaculate Widows Association, Reverend Sister Gabriela Nona, paints a mental picture of the squalid and inhumane treatment women go through in the Fiama enclave after the loss of their husbands.
Nowadays, when a man dies, they don't care for the widow. They say that they cannot get care for their own children. How can they be able to care for somebody's children?
As a result of that, 26 years ago, she founded the association at the Fiama to at least help the widows to live a dignified life, who they now join in droves. The membership of the St. Immaculate Widows Association is now pegged at 888, a tax too huge for only one person to bear. That huge burden could easily have been lessened, according to Reverend Sister Gabriela Nona, if the widows have access to not only farmlands, but lands that are fertile.
These people have to suffer to get a land. They always took the land that which is fertile and give them places which is not fertile. They make only bamboo beans, some small groundnuts, some rice. The rice also cannot do if the rain is not going very well. And this little food, they also try to feed their children. They are not lazy. I let them train. Each one to train something. Don't sit down, put your hand under the laps and sit down like that waiting that we have to do something before we eat.
While they praise and waste with bated breath for the status quo to change, private legal practitioner, lawyer Teddy Osori, and Mommy and Me donated bags of rice, sugar, cartons of coconut oil, mattresses, and used clothes to enable them celebrate the Easter. The donation, according to lawyer Teddy Osori, is the third in as many years.
We pray and hope that we are able to develop this thing into something more sustainable that makes the widows grow a little bit independent and are able to do something more for themselves and for the communities that they belong to. During this period of Lent, we are encouraged to be charitable, and we are happy that a charitable institution supports this program every year during this period of Lent.
A representative of Mommy and Me, Joe Ampendako, expressed joy for the collaboration between his outfit and that of Loyalty Diosori, which has brought smiles to the faces of the widows.
Before I end, glad that this presentation is not made to only Catholic women here, which is very important that as even the Catholic Church stands, all the women here comes from all facets of society, and we are most grateful that Reverend Sister, we are grateful that you have been able to, stretch forth your hand to touch every widow who is in the community.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Dafiema.
As Christians across the world celebrate Easter in commemoration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ and the coronavirus restrictions, most people, especially the needy, observe this day with little or no food to eat. In view of this, hundreds of widows within the Techiman municipality of the Bono East region are being supported by the Member of Parliament for the area, Martin A.J. Mensah-Kosa. The move, according to the MP, constitutes a bigger plan of supporting these poor groups with startups to provide them with sustainable sources of livelihood. Correspondent Tanas Sabit has more in this report.
In Ghana, Easter is celebrated as in much of the rest of the Christian world. Most churches hold services on Good Friday and on Easter Sunday, with charismatic churches typically holding large conventions or special Easter retreats and prayer meetings. But with the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, these gatherings are being heavily affected. We have been heavily affected by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are mostly indoors, so we are appealing to you to come to our aid. Even though these celebrations are climaxed with huge picnics and lots of food and entertainments, some section of the people, the less privileged, the needy, and the widows observe this day without Mary. Agnes Amban is one of them.
Widows, we had no option. We also struggle on our own. Whatever little thing that we get, we give to our children. But because of the COVID-19, it has really burdened, it has really brought some sort of poverty into the country. So it is affecting us very, very much.
To put smiles on the faces of this poor group, the Member of Parliament of the Techiman South constituency, Martin A.J. Mensah-Kosa, through the MyCam Foundation, donated items to hundreds of these widows within the constituency.
We began this process before the elections, and it's my commitment to continue through the MyCam Foundation to stretch a hand to the needy, especially on this occasion, our widows. We're hoping that this occasion coinciding with the festivities would give us a better and deeper understanding.
Mr. J. Mensah-Kosa says the donations form part of a long-term economic plan to support widows in the area with startups.
This is not going to be the end. In fact, within the same initiative, we're going to have a business support by way of capital to those who want to take on some economic activities and be able to turn their lives around. So it's going to be a very long journey of service to our people and make sure that they really get from us the needed support. And that's what you are seeing.
Some of these beneficiaries expressed gratitude to the Member of Parliament and were full of praises for the gesture. A.J. Mensah-Kosa has been helpful to us as widows, and we are very grateful for this gesture.
We are so grateful to honor for what he has done for we the widows. We are praying that the good Lord should shower his blessing upon him and guide him in all his deliberations, so that he will always remember widows and do all that he can to help widows.
I'm very excited this Easter because of this. I have never received this kind of treatment before. May God Almighty bless J. Mensah Kosa and his team. Reporting for JoyNews, Anas Sabit, Tichima.
You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Dopia. It's the holiday edition. I hope you're having a good time at home because you're unable to go to the beach. And we're here to bring you up to speed on all that's been happening. I'll take a very quick break. When I return, I'll tell you what the Majority Leader, Oseiche Mensah Bonsu, has been telling my colleague, Emefa Apau, on The Probe yesterday. Just stay with us. Welcome back. Majority Leader Oseiche Mensah Bonsu has jumped to the defense of Minority Leader Haruna Iddrisu following calls by some NDC members for his removal. Last week, some party members, including former MP for Kumungu, called for a total overhaul of the minority leadership for endorsing the approval of the finance minister's nomination, which they described as a betrayal. Mr. Iddrisu, however, told journalists after a meeting with the party leadership that he is still in charge. Speaking on The Probe yesterday, the Majority Leader told Emefa Apau that the calls for Mr. Iddrisu's resignation are unfortunate.
I think it's most unfortunate. On these matters, it's most unfortunate that they have come under the gavel. I think it's most unfortunate. It's all because, as I say, people got excited and agitated with the election of Bagbing that they were going to have their day every time that they wished, which is not coming out, and they think that because of that they are compromised.
There are calls for his resignation.
That is their internal party matter that I don't want to comment on, except to say that it would be most unfortunate if it should happen. Why? Because I would say that Haruna is one of their best materials. One, in terms of articulation, in terms of experience, in terms of knowledge, in terms of depth, in terms of balance. My own problem with him is that sometimes I tell him that, look, as a minority leader, he must be consistent, must be coherent. So, and it happened the other time. For instance, when we are closing, we just get up and we'll be talking to issues. You know, they are staccato approach, you know. So we touch base on this matter, then we move to another matter. So I tell him, as a minority leader, please sit down, then craft your speech so that you are consistent, you have that flow. The last time, Tuesday, I was most impressed. So when I was making my own concluding remarks and Suhini said something, I had to respond. Then he was telling me that I should keep to my test. And we all laughed about that.
Yeah.
So, but Haruna is a brilliant guy.
Well, he's also expressed this pleasure about the appointment of the NDC General Secretary onto the Parliamentary Service Board. According to him, Mr. Johnson Asiedu Nketiah's membership on the board has the potential of affecting the integrity of Parliament. He indicates that he had no qualms with the former MP for Wenchi West as a person, but the fact that he still holds a position as a General Secretary of the party is a great worry.
Asiedu Nketiah has been a member of Parliament, right? And one-on-one, he's an intelligent person. And maybe if he has to contribute to developing Parliament, he could. My worry is his current position as the General Secretary. It's never happened in the life of Parliament before, right? Especially when we have a very intrusive General Secretary, when even in the course of normal business of Parliament, you come and sit there to ensure that his people vote in a certain direction.
What are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid of anything but I'm afraid for Parliament. See, these are the little steps that we take that affect the integrity of Parliament. In the former Soviet Union, you know, in the Soviet system, the socialist communist systems, the Secretaries General of political parties were the ones who emerged as as presidents, right? So all their presidents have been secretary general for their party. Now, because they say they are, of course they have one-party states, because they say their parties are people's parties, the assistant secretary then is put into parliament to be the speaker of parliament. So they control everything, including even the judiciary. And that is not good enough. Democracies don't behave that way.
Acting on recommendations from an advisory committee on the constitution of the Service Board, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin on March 29 approved a 6-member parliamentary service board, which includes the chairman of the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party, Hackman Owusu-Agyeman, and NDC's Johnson Asiedu Nketia. The 4 other members of the board are MP for Swami Osei Mensa Bonsu, Tamale South MP Haruna Idrisu, former Majority Leader Abraham Osei Edu, the Clerk to Parliament, and the Speaker as its chairman. Despite the concerns raised, the Speaker insisted that Mr. Asiedu Nketia met the necessary criteria and therefore has his unwavering decision to appoint the former MP for Wenchi West onto the board. Mr. Chairman Sabonsu laments how Parliament under Mr. Bagbin is gradually becoming what he calls an enclave for the National Democratic Congress.
He was under pressure to field somebody. He didn't mention the name of Asiedu Nketia to me. Later on, about a week after, it was Alban who told me that Asiedu Nketia's name had come for them to. And I said, oh, but where from this? You don't think this is going to be one too much? Because these are the things that we do. It will mean that we are putting Parliament in the armpit of one political party. Because for the first time in the history of Ghana,
the Speaker from the NDC,
you have brought in Kofi Atto, who is the vice chairman of the party. And you are saying that is a...
You brought him as what?
His advisor. So Kofi Atto is there. He's brought in 2 former
We're
MPs.
told Ken Jirasa is also there.
Come again?
We're told there are others. Ken Jirasa is part.
I don't know of Ken.
Who are the other 2?
Amwate is. And Shaibu, Daboya Mankarago.
What are they doing in the Speaker's office?
He says he's bringing them on as advisors. So you have these 2 former MPs, and then you have Kofi Atto, vice chairman of the party, Asiedu Nketia, general secretary of the party, and a former, I think he didn't have an official position, but more or less, unofficially, everybody knew that he was a communicator for the party.
Who's that?
Gayhat Mensah.
Okay. Also coming as what?
Yes, he's also coming as to the Speaker's office. So you are turning that place into an enclave for the NDC. There's one other guy whose name I've forgotten. He was a very usual panelist at Radio Gold. He's also
as what?
There. I think I understand he says he wants to make him his communicator, his communications officer or something. So some of us thought that no, this is one too much.
Have you raised concerns about it?
I have. I've told him that, Mr. Speaker, where we are taking Parliament to, I think if you are not careful, this whole thing would collapse on all of us.
But you know that the party...
But he's told me that we need to talk about it.
Okay.
But we've not seriously.
So after... Osei Mensa Bonsu there speaking with MFA Apau that was aired yesterday on The Probe. You're watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Lopia. Let's do a very quick break. When I return, we'll tell you about sports, which is boxing. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. Well, we're just about wrapping up the holiday edition of The Pulse, well, the Easter Monday edition of The Pulse, if you like. But we're ending with this sports documentary dubbed Olympic Boxing Genes. Is the story of the Summers. I'll leave you with that story. But there's more news at myjoyonline.com. Do log on and take a look at our stories and share the links with your friends and your contacts so they can get updated as well. Well, many thanks for your time. My name is Gifty Ando Apia.